Welcome back to Greenplum Summit 2020, our very own reimagined digital customer conference. My name is Jacques Eistock, and my next guest is Sean Litt from Epsilon Conversant. Sean is the Vice President of Data Warehouse Architecture and has been solving complex big data problems for probably longer than either one of us care to admit. So welcome to Greenplum Summit, Sean, and thanks for joining us.
Hey man, how's it going?
Great. So why don't I kick it off? This is going to be a live interaction section here. So can you tell the audience a little bit about Epsilon and maybe even include a little bit about your own personal background so we all know where we're starting from?
Sure. So my name's Sean Litt, VP of Data Warehouse Architecture here at Conversant Epsilon, responsible for all of our big data environments that we have across the company. So I've been doing this for, as you said, longer than I'd like to, about 20 years. But in any case, here at Conversant Epsilon, we are, I work in the digital media practice. So we're responsible for digital advertising across the internet, serving all the wonderful not pop-up, nobody does pop-up, banner ads, and as well as in-app ads that help pay for the internet, right? So in our system, we, in terms of various ad calls and just the volume of our system, we get about 300 billion ad calls a day that we log and then also load in and analyze into our Greenplum system.
So wait a minute, did you say 300 with a B billion?
Yes, 300 billion with a B, yes.
That's a lot.
Yeah, trillion row tables are not uncommon in our database.
Wow. Yeah, that leads me to kind of the next question. So tell us a little bit about how long you've been using Greenplum and why you chose it. And I'm gonna say it had probably something to do with the T in trillion.
About 10 years at this point. We originally brought Greenplum in. We had a homegrown, sort of MPP Postgres solution that was our own. We knew that we needed parallel processing in a parallel environment just to handle our scale. I mean, even 10 years ago, we weren't talking about trillions and that kind of stuff at that point, but we were still talking in billions. We brought it in, be honest, price. Just so you know, fun fact, Conversant's award-winning band is called the low-cost alternative. That's our company band. So give you a little bit of a background there about being a bit pragmatic. But yeah, I mean, also there was all the scalability. Like I said, we knew we needed a big data system, something to be able to handle our volume at the time, as well as going forward into the future to handle all of our various data needs. And we had a lot of comfort with Postgres, so Greenplum's Postgres background was definitely a big factor at that time.
That's awesome. So since you're head of architecture and you kind of gave us the 10-year history, you saw from some of the other sessions that the audience is actually relatively technical. So
Sure.
Today we're mostly hearing about data wrangling, federated queries, federated analytics. How do you guys leverage those capabilities within Greenplum?
Sure. So our architecture, being a big data shop, we, I will not say that, I can't say that Greenplum is our one-stop shop for everything. We do have multiple systems and multiple big data systems at that, given how critical data is to our organization. So a lot of our data comes in either through our Hadoop platform or one of our other Greenplum platforms that's responsible for a lot of data wrangling. We get a lot of data first party from our various partners. So they are responsible for transforming that data into something that the overall Conversant system can understand and process and use. So we do that a lot. And, our job is to get all of that data into a central spot to analyze all of it, because we want to answer the questions that you could only answer by having all of the data together, whether that be that we pull it into the database and we do ETL style loading. Although I'll be honest, one of the things that's really nice about how Greenplum interoperates with other platforms is, and this is going to be another question you have later on, but we think about a lot of what we do is just replicating data between our platforms to provide different processing paradigms where appropriate or needed, or different scaling type of paradigms as well.
So that must lead us right into the next question, really, which is, so tell us a little bit how the users really operate with those systems. And actually, I'll probably extend it a little bit. I would be super interested to know how your users interact with the Hadoop system versus the Greenplum system as well, because like you said, you have both.
Yeah, we have both. It's really to service a different type of users. So our Hadoop users are really more, they wouldn't even want to be called data scientists, but they're somewhere in between a data scientist and something else. They're building the next generation of products around data analysis and whatnot, right? So they're really much more on a product side. And so they are really leveraging a lot of advanced AI and ML, building their own ML libraries inside of Apache Spark. So that's really a lot of their use case. But we also have a lot of analysts. I just looked it up. We today support about 200 analysts on our Greenplum platforms. On any given day, about 78 of them are using the system. So, and issuing thousands of queries. Those users are really just trying to, operate the day-to-day, as well as get the deep customer level insights, right? So where our data scientists are focused on our products, the customer focused teams are really within Greenplum database, where they can quickly get and measure what's going on in the system and what's happening and affecting their clients.
Gotcha. So do those Greenplum users ever leverage the external capabilities to let's say, query Hadoop, for example, or do you guys use ETL processes to kind of move the data around for them?
At our scale, obviously the slowdown is something that we definitely experience, and so we tend to replicate most of the data into the database, but there are places where we do leverage the external capabilities to support more of a cold, hot storage type of solution in order to handle scaling differences between the various platforms. No doubt Hadoop scales really easily, which is something to all strive for. Sure. We directly, the users they do have some access to the external capabilities to be able to federate data. We handle a lot of that for them, though, is the data engineering side.
Sure. I'm actually curious. When you say at your scale, you talked about trillions, you talked about billions, but like in terms of size, just like sheer size, how big would you say your Greenplum cluster is?
Sure. So in terms of raw size, that's an easy one. In terms of raw disk footprint, currently our clusters are 1 petabyte each. That's just raw disk. Thanks to compression and all the other great features of Greenplum, we are able to squeeze about somewhere between 2.5 to 3 petabytes of data inside of that 1 petabyte. We are expanding all of those clusters actually this year. Those clusters will all be having 2 petabytes worth of capacity, and I don't even know how many cores. Hold on, I can calculate it.
Maybe how many servers do you have operating those 1 or 2 petabytes?
It depends on the generation of the server, right? Our current servers are a bit denser than they were in the past. So one of our clusters has just short of 200 servers in it. The newer cluster, which is just a lot denser of a build, is down to 64 servers. So Just
Oh,
depends
gotcha.
on when we built it.
Yeah, no, I think the evolution of hardware is something that the Greenplum architecture continues to be
Mhm.
able to, leverage. And so,
Sure.
and as you're aware, we've recently, put together this Greenplum reference architecture so that when new hardware, new infrastructure, new cloud technologies come out, we can appropriately recommend a configuration that will fit your needs. But so since I kind of went there, our last session, we talked about one of Greenplum's superpowers, which is this ability to be infrastructure native. And so,
Mhm.
can you tell us a little bit about any hybrid deployments that you guys use that would be interesting to the audience?
Right. So, I mean, obviously, we do have our two different green plums that are very different from that standpoint on premise. We also do have a number of smaller cloud deployments as well. Those are to leverage one of our specific products, which is our People Cloud product, where we offer as a service a slice of our data warehouse for our customers to do their own analysis and create their own models and insights on leveraging. We leverage the cloud for a lot of security and whatnot reasons, but also to scale, right? We can support any number of clients very easily.
Totally. Is it advantageous then for you guys to be able to have a data platform that is the same on premise as it is in the cloud?
Absolutely, because that way, obviously from a pure administration perspective, it's just a lot easier, right, to know one tool and know it really, really well. So that definitely gives us some effects of scale. But additionally, when we're going in, we're giving just troubleshooting as well as trying to provide just help to our clients, right? Giving them a starting point. It's really great that we can go ahead and, add a couple things can happen, right? As we're building out this new environment for our new client, we could already start developing all of the onboarding type of materials on premise before we even get it there. Additionally, our Greenplum environments, as you heard, and on premise are rather large. So we're able to leverage a lot of that horsepower to kind of iterate and develop what we think is a great way to analyze the data and then provide it to the client to run on demand, albeit they're slower and smaller environments, right? It's a lot
Sure,
less data,
but
so it could be a lot smaller.
for sure. But goes without saying. But for the audience, the great thing about Greenplum is that you can start small and you can grow large depending on whether
Absolutely.
you need more concurrency or more power or more storage or whatever it is. So that's fantastic. Um, so as a longtime user, you said 10 years of Greenplum. Congrats for, I'll have to make sure you get that 10-year pin. But as a longtime user of Greenplum, can you tell us what is the most interesting to you guys with regards to our roadmap of where we're going?
So we're actually very interested in the Postgres merge in that it really opens up a lot of things that we're already doing today in Postgres, as well as a lot of new opportunities as well. So I had mentioned before that we view a lot of our ETL as nothing more than replication. So you know, we love that some of the Postgres replication type of solutions are going to be coming to Greenplum. Stuff like wall log shipping for DR type of use cases, as well as we make in our Postgres environments, and even within our big data environment, we make heavy use of materialized views to just really simplify our ETL dramatically. And it's a great tool for that. Additionally, by getting closer to Postgres, it really opens up a lot more of the Postgres environment itself to us. So, Jacques, I know you really love the work that we've done using Hyperloglog inside the database for advanced analytics, really solving a lot of our problems at our scale. But that type of work,
I
becomes
will have
real
to
easy.
say, you're going to have to educate when you said Hyperloglog the first time to me, I had to look it up. So I'm
No
assuming there
worries.
are other folks out there that will also have to look it up, unless you tell us what it is.
Sure. So Hyperloglog is a probabilistic solution to, or approach, I should say, to handling the count distinct problem. So the classic example that everybody always gives, I'm going to use an internet example. I have 10 people visit my site today, 10 people visited my site yesterday. How many total people visited my site? Somewhere between 10 and 20, right?
Right.
The only way for me to get that answer is to reanalyze the 2 days together. Hyperloglog being probabilistic, what I can do is it's not only an algorithm, but it's also a data type. So I can actually create these things called estimators. I can create an estimator for today, an estimator for yesterday. They both represent a number. Let's call it 9.8. And then I can add those two estimators together, and they might give me a different number, maybe 16.2. Yay, math.
Interesting. So, but at your scale, you're not talking about 10 users to a site.
I'm not talking about 10. Yeah, I'm talking billions, right? So when I have to go and analyze to figure out how many unique people are consuming the internet, and I have to look at 300 billion requests to see that, I only want to do that once. I don't want to have to do it each and every day, and especially for multiple days.
Yep, totally makes sense. And actually, for us, Greenplum wasn't always open source, and we made two decisions that I think have been fantastic for our customers, our users, and really the community at large. One of those was making Greenplum open source, which we did a number of years ago. And we did it in conjunction with the other thing that I'm just going to circle back to what you had said before, which is Greenplum, out of all of the different MPP software players out there, most of them have in some way started off, we'll say, with some variation of Postgres for a lot of reasons. One, the Postgres license is super friendly to it, right? The other is Postgres itself is actually a fantastic database and has been for 20 years. So we all kind of started there, but Greenplum is the only one that has committed to getting to Postgres current. And so, we did a large effort over the years merging the Greenplum code with the Postgres code. I think our last major release of Greenplum, there were well over 1 million commits from all of the years of Postgres that we got to. And our next version of Greenplum coming out next year, we plan to get even closer to that current Postgres. So I think, this leads me to my question of so given what I just said, how important is open source to Sean? And maybe it's the same, but how important is open source to Epsilon and Conversant?
Oh, I think it's very important to us, right? It gives us a path to extensibility. If we find a problem, we can solve it, and we can provide it back as needed. It also shows a lot of support for the product, right? Conversant, actually at the time was Datomi. Man, we've been through so many names. Don't worry, you've been through a lot of names too.
Yeah, I was literally going to say I went from Greenplum to EMC to Pivotal and now VMware. So we're in the same boat.
Yeah. So Datomi was a MapR customer, and I was actually just asking one of the other panelists earlier today, because I saw it on your slide of all the crazy vendors out there. I was like, are they still even a thing? Having a product open source really helps encourage that product isn't going to die with any given vendor, which, I know that, you're the vendor. I get it, right? And I'm hoping you have a job in 10 years still too, right?
Me too. Me too.
As a client, that's important, right? To show the longevity of the project and to have a project that other people are invested in and is tied to, it's one thing to have an open source project. It's another one to have one that's close to Postgres, which is an extremely active project. So there's constant innovation going on within that space that Greenplum's only a hop away. So it should, once you get caught up, hopefully it's easy to keep caught up.
For sure. And we are this is where I take the time to say we're on a older but supported version of Postgres today in our latest version, and we're almost complete with the merge to fully current Postgres. So I'm super excited about where Greenplum 7 is going to be. I think you are too, but some of the
Yeah,
innovations that we're planning will certainly help on the operations side. And what we've seen
absolutely.
between when you started, was it Greenplum 4 or Greenplum 3 when you guys started?
4.0. Yeah,
Ooh, 4.0, that was a long time ago.
that was rough.
We, we, we've come a long way. Greenplum 5 was miles ahead in terms of kind of what I'll say salesy say, but realistically also say from an HTAP, hybrid transactional analytical processing between 4 and 5, we made huge strides in being able to do higher concurrency and between 5 and 6, we actually made a same level of the performance increases, and a lot of that honestly had to do with us getting from the older versions of Postgres to newer versions of Postgres.
Yeah, no doubt. And our new environments are just killing it in terms of concurrency. So we're definitely happy in those regards.
That's awesome.
We our new environment. I think I told you this, right? Is running version 6. So yay to being on the latest and greatest.
I love it. And I'll be badgering you early next year when Greenplum 7 is out to see how quickly you guys adopt it. So
Make it easy.
we're trying. So at your scale, nothing is ever easy, correct?
No, nothing is ever easy. I mean, just adding a field is always like a pro and con discussion of like where does it need to be and how painful is this going to be? Yeah.
For sure. For sure. So another question I have for you, and this is really geared towards the audience as well, but if you were imagine attending a COVID-free data analytics, data warehousing / data wrangling party, what is the number one thing, and feel free to have more than one, but number one thing that you would say to your fellow partygoers as a reason why they should consider using Greenplum as soon as possible as one of their core technologies as part of the ecosystem?
I mean, it's a party. You're going to send me some swag to make this worthwhile. Like it's gotta be entertaining. If I can't make them laugh, it's not gonna work so well. My guys for hiding
I think
everything.
the swag's on the way.
Oh, there you go.
Of course.
But in any case, no. I think that our biggest thing has always been the scale and the flexibility and the ability to just mold Greenplum to what we need it to be. In many cases, as well as I do, Jock, we've been ahead of you guys in some of our demands. And one of the things that Greenplum has enabled us to do is somebody else earlier mentioned web external tables. Awesome capabilities there because it's really easy to plug in your own solutions to answer your business needs, your technical needs, and your business problems. And that's something we've made extreme use of over the years to help us ensure that Greenplum's never the roadblock.
Love that. And I agree with you. When I started with Greenplum, I always thought that external tables was really the largest superpower that we had, because not only can you do anything with them, I mean, literally, I always describe it to folks as it's a little bit like a Unix pipe. You've got a query table, and we can send anything into it, whether it's the output of a program, whether it's a JDBC connection, whether it's streaming sets, or whatever else you guys might be doing. It literally lets you do anything. It's fantastic. Any other tidbits that you'd love to tell the audience before I kind of wrap up and let you go back to actual work?
Actual work. It's COVID. Every day is the same. Just give it a shot and see if it solves your problems and see if it works for what you need. It's open source, so what's the worst that could happen? You waste a little bit of time and find out it doesn't work for you, but give it a shot and reach out to the community. I bet you it does do what you need.
I love it. So thanks a lot for your time, Sean Litt from Epsilon Conversant. You know, it's always great to see you. It's always great talking to you. I love, and you said it yourself, you keep pushing the product, and we'll keep trying to catch up to you and keep the product better and better and better. So thanks again.
Thank you.